and welcome to another episode of the New Mom Who Dis podcast. I'm your host, Katie, and today I'm doing another health snack segment. These are just smaller episodes where I talk about health tips and tricks for moms in any phase of your momhood journey. But today we are specifically going to be talking about postpartum fitness. And honestly, when you hear postpartum, you usually think about like the first few months after giving birth. But honestly, I consider postpartum kind of any time after having a baby. You are like always postpartum. So I say postpartum loosely to include pretty much every stage of momhood, to be honest, because when you're a mom, it is super difficult no matter where you are in that journey to create healthy habits. So that is exactly what this segment is for. So I myself, before having Coop, that's my son, I lost 90 pounds and I took basically what I learned from that journey and applied it postpartum. But there are some very key differences between like doing that when you haven't had a baby and doing that when you have had a baby. One is the hormones. The hormones are completely different after you have a baby. Two, your body just went through something super traumatic. If it's close to when you gave birth, it can take like up to a year, 2 years really for things to kind of normalize, so to speak. So really there are some major differences. And so I had to really invest time and education into learning about what the differences are and how to work out postpartum. And so I have a background in health coaching and a bachelor's degree in health sciences with a concentration in fitness. So that is my background. I also became really involved in perinatal fitness while being pregnant and postpartum. And so I got my certification in perinatal fitness specialty. So that is my background in how I have the ability to talk about this because I know there's a lot of people out there that share their tips and their tricks and they're not all professionals. So just grain of salt, take everything on the internet with a grain of salt. But my experience with postpartum exercise has really been a journey. I just hit my year. My son turned a year on Sunday and it's Thursday as I'm recording this. So it was a really reflective day. And as I kind of look back at this year and where I've been in my exercise journey since it's been a part of my life for the last like 10 years, it really has changed. I mean, I used to do a lot of high intensity stuff, really heavy weightlifting, and I worked out every single day. And while I have gotten to that point now where I maybe not work out every single day, but I've gotten to a point where it's a regular thing again, it has been really difficult. And so I'm capturing this episode as if I'm talking to my future self, or sorry, past self, and future self if I have another kid. I kind of would do things differently. I didn't start working out until about 16 weeks postpartum, 12 to 16 weeks. The exception from that was walking. I started going on walks almost immediately after coming home. I had a C-section birth, and that was just basically to help my recovery. So it was very slow. It wasn't intended for like exercise purposes. It was really just to help my body with recovery because walking also helps reduce inflammation and you retain a lot of water after giving birth. And so my feet were so swollen. And so it really helped to lower the swelling in my feet as well. Also, it just is nice to get outside. Like mentally, it helped. It helped the fresh air. It helped not be cooped up all day inside. And it helped my baby as well. Sometimes he would sleep in the stroller. And as I recovered more, I would just like walk until he woke up. So some of the things that I would go back and tell myself to start with immediately would be breathing exercises. And this is going to be hugely beneficial in restoring your core, restoring your pelvic floor. It all starts with our core. And as moms, as newly postpartum, our abs separate during pregnancy, and it can take a long time for those to repair. And if you're not doing the proper work to help with that repair, then your abs can actually stay separated long after you've given birth. You might hear people say, like, oh, your abs are never going to go back to normal, or, stuff like that. And it's because the proper work to repair that isn't being done. And it could be done even 10 years after having a baby. So it's never too late. And then extreme separation is called diastasis recti. And that also has some differences than your normal core separation or ab separation repair. So breathing exercises are really important for that. And it's also going to strengthen your pelvic floor, which is obviously hindered during birth. We all know that, a vaginal birth, but is also affected during a C-section too, because everything moves and everything changes during your pregnancy. And so these exercises help to kind of bring everything back together and strengthen everything. Breathing exercises include diaphragmatic breathing or 360 breathing. You can look this up on the internet. It's really simple exercise. So there are tons of videos out there. But like I said, it is just like a foundation, because once you learn how to properly expand and engage your core, then once it gets to the point where you're ready to increase your fitness level intensity and introduce some more abdominal exercises, you'll know that you're doing them properly. And doing them properly means that you're actually going to reduce the mom pooch, the C-section shelf, all that stuff that we know and love as new moms. So breathing is a core foundational exercise to do. Stretching and mobility is also going to be an important part of postpartum fitness. And again, kind of at any time in your mom journey, between breastfeeding, carrying your baby, especially as they get into toddler years. I mean, I am like doing the mom hip hop. And so our alignment gets out of whack, our posture gets out of whack, breastfeeding, like your neck. Sometimes you're in like these weird positions when you're sleeping with your child or when you're breastfeeding. So stretching and mobility is going to be a huge help in recovering and just all throughout mom journey. Again, anything that helps to improve your range of motion. So physical therapy is really great for this also, but you can also just look up any kind of stretching, mobility, yoga, that kind of stuff, some light movement on YouTube or in your community. There's so many forms of it out there. So that is something that is very important to introduce if you're just starting a fitness journey, and also include even in an advanced fitness journey too. I usually do a warm up and a cool down during my workout, and then I'll have a dedicated day to stretching and mobility. And I call this an active recovery day because it's a rest day, but I'm still doing something to actually help my body recover from the more intense workouts that I did previously, or get ready for the more intense workouts I'm going to do in the future. So stretching and mobility, do not skip it. Don't skip a warm up. Don't skip a cool down. It's there for a reason. Strength training is also going to be really important in a postpartum fitness journey, or even as a mom, because it's going to gradually rebuild the muscle tone, especially our core, our glutes, and our back. It all gets super strained and tight, again, in those different positions that we are doing as a mom that we might never have really done before. So for example, you're putting down your baby in the crib, you're picking your baby up from the crib, you're putting them in a car seat, you're carrying a car seat. You might be like playing with them differently. I love to swing Coop in between my legs and lift them up in the air. And that's stuff that I wasn't normally doing in my day to day before having a baby. So there's all these new types of movements. And so strength training is really going to help us to, again, kind of get those foundational movements correctly. And that way, when we're squatting to pick up the baby, or hinging to pick up the baby, or picking up the baby, we're engaging our core and we're not using our back. It's all going to help to properly do those daily activities of living that you do every single day with your baby. And as your baby grows and grows, it's going to be more important to make sure we're doing these moves properly, because that's how you throw your back out, and all of those things, right? Again, your core is super important. Glutes, our butts go as moms. You might have heard like mom butt. It's almost like a constantly clenched booty. And we don't want that, right? We want like a round, firm booty. That's what we're all trying to get after, right? So working the glutes, working the back, working the core, it's all connected, and very important when you're in mom mode. So anything like starting with body weight squats, modified push-ups, resistance band exercises, again, body weight exercises. You don't need to like get into a gym and start lifting heavy and doing everything right out of the gate. Honestly, starting small is what's going to be most beneficial. Get those foundational movements um, down and get your form down before you progress. I would say foundational movements would be squats, push ups, lunges, and a hip hinge. I'd say those are probably like the most movements that we do as moms. But most of those are body weight, right? You can literally stand in your kitchen, do some squats, do some dishes. At the changing table, you can be doing some squats, playing with baby, change a diaper. I know that's what I used to do. Hinging is literally the movement that you're doing when you're setting your baby in the crib and picking your baby up from the crib. So there's lots of things to do to just kind of slowly get started. You don't have to go spend hours at the gym to make an impact. And then the last type of exercise that's important to introduce into your fitness journey is low impact cardio. If we were to start with the high impact, like the boot camp, the CrossFit, our bodies aren't ready for that postpartum. And not only postpartum are they not ready, but just to jump into those when maybe you haven't been active in years. So again, maybe you're 8 years, 10 years into your mom journey and you're just working out because you haven't worked out in the last 8 years. Jumping into a high impact cardio type of workout can be very taxing, and then also it can cause more soreness, which can cause you to have to like skip days and then you feel unmotivated or you feel like a failure, right? So just start slow. Start with low impact. Low impact is anything like walking, gentle cycling. There's even if you just type in low impact cardio, there are moves that you can do that will get your heart rate up without it being like jumping around and all this really high impact intense stuff. So quick Google search or a YouTube search of low impact cardio, and you can start doing that. I will even link in the show notes some workouts that I recommend. I have been using this platform called Body for oh my gosh, 10 plus years. There are some really amazing workouts on there as well that I will link below. But there is one that I did right after being postpartum and right after meeting like 12 to 16 weeks after. It was the first program that I dedicated myself to when I was ready to start working out. I did the program when I was pregnant, I think 3 or 4 times actually, because it was the one that I just felt like I could do over and over again as I went through my trimesters. But anyway, I will link it below and you can check it out. There's even a sample workout. I can link that as well below. But low impact cardio, it's going to help increase your endurance and without like feeling like you're straining because when we're pregnant, our cardiorespiratory system is actually working in double time and postpartum for a certain amount of time, we actually keep that higher volume. And so we might think that we can do more, but again, the low impact stuff is what's going to help in your recovery. If you're doing higher impact stuff, your pelvic floor isn't going to repair itself, your core is not going to repair itself. And again, you might hurt yourself. So, starting with low impact is going to help your recovery as well. And then you can work to increase your endurance as you go. Like I said, I started with walking. And I think when I first started walking postpartum, we live in an apartment complex and it used to take me maybe like 40 minutes to walk around our complex, like the outside loop, and it's not very big. But that was me going incredibly slow. And then once I got to a place where I felt more recovered and into like my postpartum phase and I could do more, I think I can walk in like 10, 15 minutes now. So like really starting slow is key here, and you can always build on your progress. So now that I've kind of gone through the main forms of exercise, you have your breathing, you have your stretching and mobility, you have your strength training, and you have your low impact cardio. I would absolutely start with gentle breathing and core repair in those first 0 to 6 weeks. You can actually start doing those in the hospital. If you look up diaphragmatic breathing or 360 breathing, it's all about belly breathing and knowing how to properly breathe. Because if you think about it, or if you take a deep breath, you're probably like raising your shoulders or your chest is coming out, and that's not properly breathing or fully engaging like your entire diaphragm. So when we belly breathe, our belly is expanding and our belly is falling, and we're breathing from our belly. And even if you watch babies, they breathe this way. As we build stress and everything, that's when we start to like chest breathe and like tense up in our shoulders and breathe like that. Like when we take a deep breath, it's like, and it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to come from your belly, right? That's engaging your entire diaphragm. So anyway, you can start to do these like immediately, unless for some reason your doctor is telling you like absolutely not. But for the most part, it's safe to do like even at the hospital. So this is by far the thing that I would do. I could go back and tell myself to start doing anything, this would be it. So deep breathing exercises anywhere from 0 to 6 weeks. And I actually have a deep breathing exercise guide that I will drop below. It's free. You can go on there. There's 4 exercises for you to start doing, and it walks through step by step how to do them. So I will link that below. And then walks again, as you can tolerate them. I started days after returning from the hospital. It was just like a necessity for me being in a 1 bedroom apartment. I needed to walk around for my recovery. I needed to be outside. And it was December and I live in Arizona. So it was like prime weather. I didn't want to wait until the summertime when it's like too hot to go outside. Slow walking, anything like that is only going to help boost circulation and aid in your recovery. So those first 0 to 6 weeks, that's really what you want to focus on. And then from 6 to 12 weeks, that's usually when you get clearance from your doctor. So a vaginal birth, usually they'll give you clearance at 6 weeks. A C-section birth, they'll usually give you clearance at 8 weeks to start doing a little bit more intense exercise or normal exercise. But again, start with caution, start slow, add light stretches in there, mobility work, and even pelvic floor activation exercises. Things like glute bridges, that's going to activate your pelvic floor. Bird dogs, it's going to activate your pelvic floor. Even the deep breathing is going to activate your pelvic floor. So those are some things that you can start to weave in during that 6 to 12 week recovery time. And then also continue walking. Maybe you're getting quicker. Maybe you're adding the length that you're walking, really anything that you can handle. And then you can also start adding in some gentle body weight exercises too, or light resistance, like using a resistance band or a core ball. A core ball is really, really great for pelvic floor repair. You can literally put it between your thighs while you're squatting, while you're doing glute bridges, anything. And it is just going to engage everything that much more. It is a great piece of equipment. If you have nothing else, resistance bands or a core ball, all you need, honestly. So starting to add in those strength training during the 6 to 12 weeks. And then months 3 to 6, you can start introducing more structured workouts, focusing on core rebuilding and low impact cardio. And this is really where I started doing, like I said, I did my first actual program that I reintroduced after having Coop was at the like 4 or 5 month mark. So that was 4 days a week, 30 minutes each exercise, and it included both strength training, low impact cardio, and some mobility exercises as well. So it was a more gentle type of program, and it also focused on foundational moves. The workout is literally called 4 weeks for everybody. That's the one I'm linking below. And so it really walks through the foundational exercises. And so once you start doing that, that's when you can gradually increase your intensity based on where you're at. Always check in with yourself and see what works for you. Maybe 30 minutes seems too long still, so you cut it down to 15 minutes. You do half a workout or 15-minute full workout. Maybe you just do body weight exercises and you don't add any weights. See where you're at. Always check in with yourself. And there's no like right or wrong way or place that you have to be in your fitness journey postpartum. So always check in with yourself. And that could vary from day to day too, right? One day you might feel stronger than the next day. And so you might lift heavier, and then the next day you might do body weight. They're both equally effective in different ways. So once you are past that 6 month mark, that's when you can really start to progress into like more dynamic movements and higher intensity strength training, higher intensity cardio if you want. I would say even like moderately impactful And then once you do like moderate impact, some light jumping, maybe then for a couple months, then you can increase it to full high intensity if you want. But that is really as you progress, right? Again, check in with yourself. Wouldn't just jump into the high impact cardio, start with low and then work your way up from there. Same thing with higher intensity strength training. Just start, even like 2 pound weights or 5 pound weights might seem like nothing, but certain movements, and the more you do them, more reps, it will start to add up. And then okay, I started with the 5, and maybe by month 8, you're doing that same move with 10, 15 pound weights. And you will see that like the way that you play with your child too, and the way you're able to like engage with them will change dramatically as you add exercise into. It can be really difficult to find time as a mom, to exercise. And it's one of the questions that I probably get asked the most is like, where do I find the time? And honestly, I'm not anti-gym, but I'm not like a gym fanatic. I love at-home workouts. That's what I've been doing for the last like 10 years. And I've leaved going to the gym in and out of there just because I needed something different. I needed to get out of the house, or I just wanted to challenge myself a little bit more. For the most part, I love my at-home workouts. And then we actually have a gym downstairs in our apartment complex. So I'll go there a lot, again, just to get like that me time. And so I'll do anything from 30 to 45 minutes, and my husband will watch Coop and give me that time so that I can have uninterrupted workout. Otherwise, a 20, 30-minute workout at home is totally doable. I am all for it. And especially if you're doing body weight, low impact, it's totally doable. So some tips that I would say for saving time would be to work out during naps, or even like if your baby's good at independent play, or once they're able to more independently play, you can work out while they play. You can even break exercises into smaller chunks. Like some babies I know, they'll be good for like 15 minutes and then they'll start to get fussy and want more attention, which is totally fine. You can play with that. You can do like 3 10-minute workout sessions throughout the day, and there's your 30 minutes, or like 2 15 minutes during the day, or you could do a 15-minute strength training and then take your baby on a walk. There's so many different ways that you can do it, even if your baby isn't napping. And then if your baby is napping and it's like 30 minutes, trust me, I know like in the first 6 months, and maybe even after that, like when your baby goes down for a nap, it's like, do I clean? Do I take a shower? Do I work out? Do I cook? Do I eat? Do I binge watch my favorite TV show? Like, I understand it's like a tidal wave of things to do and want to do while your baby is sleeping. I'm going to be just like flat out honest with you. I don't know that I've ever really worked out while Coop took a nap. And that's just because I wanted to use that time to do so many other things. And I utilized my husband's support to go do a workout. And the reason is because my baby specifically wasn't a great napper, and he still isn't a great napper. Sometimes he'll sleep for an hour, sometimes he'll sleep 30 minutes. Like, it's just not consistent. And that's what I mean by not a great napper. He takes naps, it's just not consistent. And so if I were to start a workout, I personally like to start and complete it in one session. So if I were to start a workout and then get interrupted because he woke up, like, I just wouldn't feel as like good. I didn't have time to like stretch if I did a strength training workout. So it would just be a little bit more difficult. Now, has that happened? Yeah. Or have I been down at the gym and I've gotten interrupted and had to come up and feed Coop, or just, help because he's being extra fussy? Yeah, that happens. That's going to happen as a mom. But structuring it or scheduling it in a way that works best for you, it's ultimately what's going to help you find time. So if your baby's consistently napping for an hour, maybe 30 minutes you do your workout and then 30 minutes you take a shower, or something like that. You know your baby best and their schedule. So I would just say kind of weave it and work it as your schedule allows. And then just like take advantage of the support that you have. If you have family around, friends around, your husband, your partner, anyone willing to help you out so that you can get 30 minutes of exercise, like, it make you feel guilty as a new mom, but honestly, working out is not only good physically, it's good mentally, it's time away. you could just throw your earbuds in, throw your music on, or if you like, I a lot of times follow along a workout and the trainer is so inspirational and it's like what I need to hear that day. So that's why I like follow along workouts. I also like get it done quickly. There's no time to second guess what I'm doing. She moves us from move to move to move. So my 30 minutes are accounted for and effective, and I'm in and I'm out. So it just depends on what's going to work for you. But nap time or even like tummy time, there's a lot of opportunity during tummy time where you can be next to them doing glute bridges. I did a lot of my pelvic floor physical therapy while Coop was doing tummy time. I would be next to him on the mat, on my own mat, my yoga mat, doing my pelvic floor therapy. So you can really take advantage of those times too. It doesn't have to be like a hard, heavy workout. And then another tip for kind of boosting energy, because I know like that's another point of contention, is being fatigued and having the energy, especially like keeping up as your baby gets more active and into toddler phase. And then in the beginning, when you might be sleep deprived, it's like, how do I even find the energy? If you are properly nourishing yourself, your energy levels are naturally going to increase. I will tell you right now, I still do not sleep through the night, and Coop is a year old. He wakes up still every 2 to 2.5 hours and feeds, comfort feeds, like needs to be comforted back to sleep, like something. So I do not sleep through the night, but I still have consistent energy throughout the day because nourishing myself, nutrient dense snacks, as much whole foods as you possibly can. Smoothies are great. Regularly, like spacing out your caffeine, like maybe not have all of your caffeine in the morning because that will lead to like a crash and then you might not have energy in the afternoon. So I typically have like one coffee in the morning and then my pre workout in the afternoon. And that's when I go do my workout. And that seems to balance me out pretty well. Decrease your sugar intake. That's also going to cause you to crash. Lemon water will help energize you. The pre-workout that I use is all plant-based energy. I can link it below. I've been using it for 6 years now, and I never used to use a pre-workout before, but I love it. I do even like a half scoop sometimes is plenty for me. I used it while I was pregnant. So those types of things can help kind of boost your energy or prevent kind of that crash of energy as well. And also just moving your body will give you energy. Like I know it sounds counterintuitive because you don't have energy to move, but once you get going, you kind of wake up your body, you wake up your muscles, you get your blood flowing, and you get the circulation, and it energizes you. So even like going outside, starting with a walk, and then saying, okay, if I'm still tired after I do a little bit of walking, I'm just going to call it a rest day or an active recovery day. Or, okay, I'm going to go on a walk with my baby. And maybe if I feel energized as I'm walking, when we get back, I'm going to do a little strength training exercise. Really, don't count yourself out. Try to get that motivation, so to speak. That's another thing I hear all the time is I don't have the motivation, and motivation is just energy. So sometimes we have to get the ball rolling first, and then the motivation will come, and then the energy will come, right? It's kind of like starting a car. You can't just will a car to start. You have to put energy into it. And that's exactly how it is for us too. We can't just sit down and wait for motivation to come to us. We have to ignite the energy. We have to ignite the motivation. And then I would say another thing for time is to have something that you're following. I've talked repeatedly about the platform that I use, and I promise you, this is not just a soapbox for me to pitch the body platform, but I will say whether it's that platform or another program that you follow, a free app that I really like to use is called Fit On. I don't get any like reimbursement from them or anything, and that's all free. YouTube, Pinterest, honestly, like just find something that you can follow. Like I said, I love using the body moves or the body workouts because it really like efficiently and effectively moves me through my 30-minute workout. I don't have to think about what I'm going to do that day. I just go into the program that I decided to do, click play, and it walks me through. And really, like, that's what I need as a mom. I need something that's fast. I need something that's efficient and effective. And that's what I would highly recommend. Just find something that you can follow, because if you get stuck down the rabbit hole of Pinterest or you start saving stuff, but you never actually look at it, then you're not doing yourself a favor. If you have goals, if you have fitness goals, start a program. Be following something, and that way it takes the guesswork out of it. And it's kind of just like you're starting an automated system at that point. Schedule your workouts, like I said, around nap time or around when you have the help. Maybe Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays are good for you. Maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and a weekend day. Start to just think about what your week looks like and when you can fit in those exercises. There's also, I have a free fitness community where it's all moms supporting each other on their fitness journey. So I will link that below as well. And you are welcome to join that for some extra accountability, for ideas, anything like that. Have some kind of accountability. And I think that's super helpful as well. So, where can you start? Main takeaways from this podcast would be to start small. 2 to 3 days per week, short sessions, 10 to 15 minutes. Start with the breathing, especially if you are new postpartum. But really jumping into any exercise routine, start small, a couple times a week. You don't have to do some kind of all or nothing routine. And then you can gradually increase from there. You can go 4 to 5 days. You can add strength. You can add more cardio. You can add longer sessions, maybe go from working out 10 minutes to working out 30 minutes. I rarely do like an hour. I tried to at one point. I tried to do a program where the workouts were an hour, and I think I got 6 weeks into it, and I was like, this is too much. And I don't think my body was reacting very well because I'm not getting sleep. So I'm not recovering the same way, because sleep is where your body does most of its recovery. And I never felt like I was getting any kind of relief from like being sore or fatigued and joint pain and all that. So that's really how you can tell that you're overdoing it. You should be able to work out multiple times in a week, and you're going to be sore. That's just the nature of making your body do something that it hasn't done for a while. When you get your body moving, you get that lactic acid to break up and you get your blood to circulate, like really that should go away as you continue your workout. So just some things to look out for, but really like listen to your body, rest when you need, take some recovery, especially during the sleep deprived months. And I'm still in it. And so I still love my low impact cardio, my strength training. Like I said, I try to be very short and effective with my workouts. And water. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Drinking it as I say that. And that is just going to help again. If you kind of look at exercise and fitness more of aiding in your recovery or aiding in the everyday things that you do as a mom, I think it's helpful to stay motivated and create more of a fitness routine. I feel like I've been motivated for weight loss before. I was on and off a diet since I was 11 years old. I was overweight like my whole teenage years. And so I know, like personally, being motivated by a weight loss or a number on the scale, like that just never worked for me. It was something more that did it for me. For me, I was diagnosed with polycystic ovary syndrome, and I was pre-diabetic, and my health was in jeopardy. That's what really motivated me. And then as a mom, that's what motivates me now, is showing up for my baby, showing him healthy habits, being able to do things with him now that he's becoming a toddler. It's really important. So finding some form of motivation that isn't so externally motivated, like a number on the scale or fitting back into your clothes. Like that's great, but it's most likely not going to keep you motivated. It's not going to, once you reach that, even like what's going to keep you going. So I love to just share, connect it to what you're doing on a daily basis, connect it to your putting your baby down for a nap, you're picking them up, putting them down, picking them up, putting them down, playing with them. Again, as they get older, it's just going to help you show up in the ways that you want to as a parent, and then also for yourself. So just continue to find those ways to motivate you. And no matter where you are in your postpartum journey, whether you're newly postpartum or again, 10 years after having a baby, like go at your own pace. I have fallen victim to looking at social media and even seeing people that were 4 months postpartum and they already were like, back to the workout routine. I got my pre baby body back. And that's great for them. That did not work for me. I had a lot more going on and I was not anywhere near ready at 4 months to be back to where I was before I got pregnant. And so everybody's going to have their own journey. Go at your own pace. Like this is for you at the end of the day to like be healthy. And that's the biggest piece of advice I think that I can share and celebrate the victories along the way. If you do start walking further distances or walking at a faster pace after having a baby or you're lifting a certain amount after a month, like celebrate every single win that you possibly can. Even just starting. If you are like I got a workout in today, that's a celebration. And then day 2 and then day 3 and just keep building on those celebrations. It's going to compound, it's going to keep you motivated, and it's going to all add up in the end. So I am really passionate about postpartum fitness and helping moms in general to weave in a healthy lifestyle because I know it's something that most of us crave. And there's just a lot of bounce back culture or weight loss culture, and it can be really dangerous. So just take it all with a grain of salt, take a step back, start small, and find that motivation connected to the things that you do every day. Thank you so much for watching or listening wherever you are, no matter where you are in your mom journey. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next episode.